Your brain would rather you be unhappy than uncertain. To your nervous system, a familiar wound feels like a safe map, while joy is a dangerous, uncharted territory that triggers a silent fight or flight response. This is why you've felt that strange urge to sabotage a good moment just because it felt too quiet or unfamiliar. Today, we are dissecting the biological preference for known misery and learning how to finally embrace the terrifying beauty of being happy. Old maps used to have a phrase written across the parts nobody had explored yet. Here be dragons. Not because anyone had actually seen a dragon out there. Nobody had gone far enough to see anything at all. The blank space itself was the threat. Cartographers would rather warn sailors away from something imaginary than admit the simpler, scarier truth: we don't know what's there. And for centuries, sailors stayed close to the coastline they already knew. Barren, storm-battered, half the crew getting sick every winter, rather than risk the open water where better land might have been waiting the whole time. The known misery of the coastline beat the unknown possibility of somewhere better, every single time, for generations. That's not ancient history. That's the exact shape of what happens inside a person every time life offers them something good and unfamiliar. Here's the part that sounds backwards until you actually understand how the nervous system works. Safety was never about whether something is good for you. It's about whether it's predictable. A familiar wound, the same argument on repeat, the same kind of person who keeps letting you down in the same specific way, the same low hum of dissatisfaction you've carried for years. That wound comes with a map. You know exactly how it starts, roughly how it'll go, precisely how much it'll hurt, and that you'll survive it, because you already have, dozens of times before. Predictability reads as safety to a nervous system, even when what's being predicted is pain. Joy, on the other hand, has no map yet. Nobody's charted where it goes, what it costs, whether it'll be taken away, how it ends. And a system built for survival treats unmapped territory as more dangerous than mapped suffering every time, regardless of which one is actually better for you. There's a simple reason the body reacts this way. The nervous system isn't really scanning for good or bad. It's scanning for deviation. Anything that breaks the expected pattern gets flagged as significant, and significant to a system built for threat detection defaults to dangerous until proven otherwise. A sudden loss triggers that alarm. So does a sudden, unearned kindness. So does a compliment landing somewhere it's never landed before, or a calm morning after years of chaotic ones. The nervous system doesn't have a separate, gentler alarm for good surprises. It has one alarm, tuned for anything unfamiliar. And joy, real, unbraced for joy, is unfamiliar enough to set it off almost as reliably as danger does. This is why the sabotage happens. Not because anyone secretly enjoys misery, and not because anyone's broken for doing it. Think about the person who finally gets into a calm, steady relationship after years of chaotic ones. Someone consistent, someone who actually does what they say. No mixed signals, no push and pull. A few months in, without meaning to, they start picking fights over nothing. Reading distance into a partner who's just having an ordinary tired day. Testing, poking, looking for the crack that chaos always taught them to expect. Not because they want to destroy something good, because the quiet itself feels unfamiliar enough to register as threat, and some part of them is quietly waiting for the version of the story they actually know how to survive. Or think about someone who spends years chasing a specific version of success. The business finally works, the income finally stabilizes, the thing they said they wanted for a decade actually arrives. Instead of settling into it, they manufacture a new crisis. Take on a project they don't need. Pick a fight with a business partner over something small. Convince themselves the calm can't possibly last, so they might as well create the storm on their own terms instead of waiting for it to arrive uninvited. The old chaos was exhausting, but at least it was familiar exhaustion. This new quiet feels like standing in a room with no walls, and something in the body starts looking for an exit that was never actually needed. Or think about the person who finally takes real rest, an actual vacation, a weekend with nothing scheduled, no urgent fire to put out, and instead of relaxing into it, spends the whole time restless, guilty, half convinced they should be doing something. Stillness gets relabeled as laziness. Ease gets relabeled as a warning sign that something's about to fall apart while they're not looking. Nobody taught them to feel that way about rest on purpose. It's just what happens when a nervous system that only ever learned to associate safety with constant motion finally gets handed stillness and doesn't recognize it as anything other than a threat wearing a peaceful disguise. Or think about the smaller, quieter version of this, the one that doesn't even look like sabotage from the outside. The evening that's actually peaceful, nothing wrong, nobody upset, and instead of just letting it be peaceful, there's this itch to check the phone one more time, replay a conversation looking for a hidden problem, brace for whatever's about to go wrong. Nothing's wrong. That's exactly the issue. A nervous system trained on chaos doesn't know what to do with silence except assume it's the silence right before something bad happens. That's not paranoia. That's a map drawn a long time ago, still being followed on a road that doesn't exist anymore. Here's what almost nobody explains clearly. This reaction was never a character flaw. It was a survival adaptation that worked once in a different set of conditions. If chaos was the environment that shaped a person, then vigilance around calm wasn't dysfunction back then. It was intelligence, applied correctly to the situation they actually had at the time. The problem isn't that the system is broken. The problem is that it's still running old software in a new environment, still treating the unmapped territory of a genuinely safe, good life as though it's exactly as dangerous as the chaos that used to live there. And this is where it actually gets hopeful if you sit with it long enough. A map isn't fixed. It only feels permanent because it's the only one anyone's got. Every sailor who ever crossed into the blank space marked, "Here be dragons," and made it out the other side came back with a slightly less terrifying map than the one they started with. Not because the ocean got safer, because someone actually went and looked instead of trusting a warning written by people who'd never gone either. That's the entire work underneath all of it, not forcing yourself to feel comfortable in joy overnight, because that isn't how any of this rewires. It's staying in the unfamiliar territory a little longer than instinct wants to, letting the quiet evening stay quiet for one more hour before reaching for the phone to go looking for a problem. Noticing the urge to start a fight in a good relationship and getting curious about it instead of acting on it immediately. Letting a real vacation stay restful instead of filling it with manufactured urgency. Not fixing the whole map in one sitting, just sailing a little further past the edge of the known coastline than last time and coming back to notice that the dragons, once again, weren't actually there. Because the terrifying part was never the joy itself. It was the unfamiliarity of it. And unfamiliar isn't the same thing as unsafe, no matter how loudly the old wiring insists otherwise. The wound had a map because it got walked so many times the ground remembered every footstep. Joy doesn't have one yet, simply because it hasn't been walked enough times for anyone's feet to trust it. So the next time something good arrives quietly and some old part of you starts looking for the exit, ask it one honest question. Is this actually dangerous, or is it simply somewhere you've never been? Most of the time, it's the second one. And the only way that blank space on the map ever gets filled in is by someone willing to sail past the warning and find out for themselves what was really out there the whole time.